Are you a pharma founder who's looking for brand name ideas for pharmaceutical products for your next pharma product, whether it's an innovator product or even a generic? This is James Pereira. Welcome to the Pharma Founders Academy channel, and I'm also the founder of the Figure Pharma Accelerator program. If you are here for the first time in this channel, subscribe, click the bell icon and select all notifications so that all future videos that I produce that will have tips and techniques that will help you build a sustainable pharma business you shall receive. What I would like to share with you in today's video is a presentation that I did in 2017 in Singapore during an international healthcare conference where I presented on how to select effective brand names. And there are some examples there, some humorous as well, of terrible brand names that you should avoid at all costs. Selecting a brand name obviously is going to be a strategically important endeavor that you are ever going to do. And especially so if you want your brand name or your product to be global in nature. So you got to put a lot more thought into that. You don't want a brand name that is acceptable in one country, but totally rejected in another country or region. And in the presentation that follows, I have some examples of that. Now, though they may sound funny, but you are spending millions of dollars developing your pharmaceutical product, and then it's a terrible experience if your product doesn't take off simply because you did not put much thought into selecting the brand name. So let's have a look at this presentation that I did 8 years ago. Good morning, everyone. It's glad to be back. And my presentation today, the topic is why a strong brand name is crucial for your product's success. Now, before I continue any further, I must make a disclaimer because yesterday I got a few questions and I got to set the record straight. I am not related to Gabriel Pereira. Yesterday from his talk, you would have realized that his angle was pretty much from a marketing perspective on promotions. And my topic is actually further upstream. After you have discovered a compound, one of the first things that you would do after patenting it would be getting a brand name. So this is what it's going to be and how important it is. So before I start, I would just like to find out how many of you here are from the marketing departments? Can you just raise your hand? Oh, there's a very small group. Anyone from R&D? Okay, great. So I guess you guys are the ones who would probably be responsible, besides the corporate strategy guys, with selecting names. So what I would like you to do now is just take a pen and on a piece of paper, could you just write down your most favorite brand? Or the brand that comes to your mind, top of mind, just one. If you could just spend a moment just writing that down. Thank you. Are we done? Okay. So moving on. How many of you believe that a strong brand name is crucial for your brand success or product success? Okay, that's quite a few. How many of you do not believe that it's important? Okay, no takers. How many of you, no matter what I ask, will not respond? Maybe it's the time of the day. Now, if you think that a strong brand name is not important, I'm going to project an image now, and I want you to think of this guy. He's a pretty popular guy. Think of him and try to reflect how much his name may have influenced his achievements. Bolt became the world's fastest man. Did his name influence his achievement? We don't know. So since he's going to retire, let's wait for his biography. Now, the topics that I'm going to go through very quickly are going to be some examples of very strong brand names. What is the impact of strong brand names? How it can help your company as well, not just the product. And we'll go through some examples of very bad brand names. And finally, how do you go about creating a brand name? Let's start off with the strong brand names. Everybody is familiar with Kleenex. If you have gone through any kind of, if you have done an MBA or any kind of marketing course, you'd find that every marketing book has examples of Kleenex and thermos. where Kleenex became so popular that eventually it became a generic term. Kleenex meant tissues. So people used to say, pass me a Kleenex, instead of pass me a tissue. The same thing happened with thermos as well. Thermos flask became so popular that people bought thermos rather than a flask. Of course, now thermos is no longer popular, and there are hundreds of other brands out there. But Tupperware, I do not know if you belong to my generation, but I still use the generic term Tupperware, meaning any plastic container. So I will tell some people, please pack the food in this Tupperware, although it's another brand altogether. So that's the power of brand names. You can become generic. So those are all old examples. New example is Google. How often do we say, Google it? It has become a verb now. A noun has become a verb. We don't say Bing it, although Bing is a search engine, right? So we stick with Google. So that's the power. Now, in certain countries where FedEx is very popular, you don't say courier this document, you say FedEx it. Is Xerox, yeah. Thank you, Dilip. Xerox is a generic term for copying, facsimiles. A few more. Uber. Uber is now a taxi or ride-hailing service. It's a German word, but it has come to connote taxi services. Amazon is no longer a jungle or a large river. It's the world's largest online retailer for books, CDs, videos, music, MP3 files. Southwest is not a place, it's an airline, and we normally link it with Herb Kelleher, the founder. Disney, still a name, not many people have it, but it is known for its theme parks and family-friendly entertainment. And Pixar, founded by Steve Jobs, very popular as for cars, for Toy Story, kids animation. So you can see from there that a strong brand name will allow your customers to have confidence in your brand, which means if they go to any part of the world, they are assured of the quality of the product or the quality of the service. For example, McDonald's. The process is the same whether it's in Australia, in the US, or even in India. I'm not sure if India still have any more McDonald's, or any other country. It's the same process. You are assured of the quality. Secondly, it has an elitist attitude as well in some customers. It can drive emotions. Owning a Bentley car has got a different emotional appeal than driving, let's say, a Volvo, for example, right? And I use an Apple Macintosh. All of you know that Apple guys are a bunch of snobby guys, right? So that's the kind of appeal you have. And when you have these two conditions, what will happen is that you can actually apply a higher price to your products because of the confidence it drives in customers as well as the emotional impact. The higher the emotional value, the higher the price you can charge. Higher the price means a higher sales value, and it also means higher profitability and a reputation for your product as well. Now, what encouraged me to give this talk was that a couple of months ago, I started working with a supplements company in Europe who was looking for suppliers in Malaysia to license their range of products in. But the first thing that hit me was that although the company had a good name, a relevant name, the brand name or the name for the range of its products reminded me of road traffic signs. So the first thing that hit me was, what does road traffic signs have to do with health? Okay, I felt that if I do a talk like this, it may be of value to some of you, and that's why I'm doing this. Now let's have a look at some human name associations before we move on to brands. This is just to emphasize how powerful names are. If I flash the name Sean Connery, what comes to your mind? 007, James Bond, right? What about Monica Lewinsky? Bill Clinton, okay? And probably some other events as well. Mahatma Gandhi, peaceful resistance. Nelson Mandela, anti-apartheid hero. Now what about Amanda Rao? I know Amanda is somewhere here. I saw her walking in. Thanks, Amanda. What do you link Amanda Rao to? Testosterone? What I will never forget about Amanda is how yesterday at 3 p.m. she managed to keep me awake with her sex talk. So let's have a look at some brand name associations. What do you connect Volvo with Volvo cars, safety. But in reality, it's not the safest car, but that's how they marketed themselves. Godiva, divinely tasty chocolates, which I never share with anyone. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker only makes whiskeys, nothing else. They don't make any other type of spirits, only whiskeys. And they have blue label, black label, and so on. And here's a lesson. Johnny Walker's name is so popular that they do not link it with any other product that the company may have. So that's a warning sign. Most companies that actually link their name to another category do not succeed, as in the original category. What is Mayo Clinic known for? Clinical research as well as very high quality healthcare, right? Ritz-Carlton, not just hotels, but they are very, very personalized hotels. So personalized that they can even remember what your favorite meal during your last stay was, what pillow you liked best, what type of blanket, and so on. And what about Shangri-La? It's a mythical place. Doesn't exist, huh? Although a book said that it exists somewhere in Tibet, but nobody ever found it. But a hotel chain has developed that concept of calmness, of serenity. And for those of you who are staying in Shangri-La, you know what I mean. Very high quality, and you'll find the same standard anywhere in the world where Shangri-La is. What about Keen Mind? Who remembers what Keen Mind is, besides Dilip and the SRI people? Okay, I see only one hand. Dilip, take a look around. Those are your prospective customers. Those who didn't put up your hand. Now here is an example of a very bad brand name. This is a Japanese sports drink, and it never succeeded outside of Japan. Do you know why? No prizes for guessing, because of the word sweat there. Nobody wants to drink a sports drink with someone's sweat in it. It has the yuck factor, the word sweat there. So it has never succeeded in English-speaking countries. And when I say English-speaking countries, I'm talking about Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, US, India, Singapore, Malaysia. It never succeeded, right? So that's one very bad example. I have got a series of bad examples now, which I'm going to relate to you in a story form. All right? Now, fair warning, you may find this vulgar, bordering on obscenity, but I have to drive home the point of how a bad name can really destroy your brand. All right? Now let's take the scenario of this guy by the name of, let's say, Charlie. Any Charlies here? Okay, good. There's no Charlie here. So Charlie has arrived in Singapore for the NFAP conference. On the first night, he is famished. He wants to have a meal. He walks out to Orchard Road, and he sees a shop. He's familiar with the food, but then the brand is kind of a turn-off. Most of us would not pop into this pizzeria, but he decides he's not in the mood for experimenting. Singapore food is a little bit strange for him, so he decides to go here. Now, with a name like this, what do you expect? But Charlie is a pretty observant guy. Now, when they served the pizza as well as the side dishes, he refused to touch the sauce which was on the table because the name was not very inviting. And of course, with a company with this kind of name, the Herpes Pizza, I don't think you would expect them to serve high quality stuff. Now, this is what they use in their soup as well as the sauce in their pizza, right? And poor Charlie, when he ordered the soda, they had put it into a mug so he could not see the brand that they served, which was this. Now, naturally, of course, after having consumed all this, a few hours later when he went back to the hotel, he puked, all right? And he soiled his clothing. But it's a good hotel, something like Shangri-La, so in the bathroom they supplied this detergent, but he was not very comfortable using this brand. Although, if you read the fine print, it says bath means snow. You cannot change a person's mind just by printing this. Okay, it's not going to work. So anyway, that was a least of Charlie's problems, because he had the runs as well a few hours later, and he ran to the toilet many, many times, and because he was pretty desperate, he didn't mind using this brand of toilet paper. Very specific, and maybe it gave him some confidence as well. Poor Charlie, he was a bit sore after all the runs. But the hotel once again supplied him the butt paste. It's actually a diaper rash cream. And the fine print says pleasant scent. I don't know if anybody's going to smell Charlie after this, but anyway, he used it. And coming back to post emesis, when you're very hungry, you want to eat something light, and this is what Charlie ordered from room service. And they served him this, but he decided that he would eat it, even though it had a totally different connotation, actually. And it was so delicious, so he decided to reorder, and they sent him a bigger version of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up. These are real brands out there. You can Google it, and they exist, okay? And when you see all this, you kind of wonder, what were they thinking when they actually selected these brand names? Were they serious about this? Or did they just want to shift the product out there? Right? So, moral story is, try as far as possible to avoid anatomy or even physiology as part of your brand name, because you never know how it's going to end up or how people are going to view it. Certain names, like Pocari Sweat, can work in Japan, but it may not cut it in other countries. So the naming is extremely important. If you get it wrong, you will never be able to correct it unless you spend millions of dollars. That's wasted money, actually. So think carefully before you select a name, because it is a strategic decision. It's your name. It is linked to you as the management of the company. Take your time if necessary. Take days, weeks, and even months. It's an important name, right? And some of us may have names that we regret our parents gave us. So, think about that if you have such a name. So let's have a look at some ways, some examples of unique names. And some of these names have instant meaning, okay? Now, when you see this name, what comes to your mind? What do you think these guys do? They are a nursery or a kindergarten, all right? What about these guys? Let me help you. Let me pronounce this word, sweetener. What do you think this product is? Yeah, it's a sweetener. It's actually a natural blend of sweeteners developed by one of Matsa's members, not commercially available. Grab car. Those of you in Southeast Asia, you know that this is Uber's biggest threat in this area. Surging sales, any idea? Okay, surging sales is actually a program that my company does, which is a selling skills training program for B2B sales reps. Anybody knows what Verivex is? It's actually varicella vaccine. So Verivex is actually a GSK vaccine. Do you know what Fluorix is? Yeah, it's a flu vaccine, also from GSK. And Brewworks. Anybody has gone to this place? It's actually along Orchard Road, right at the T junction. They are a craft beer creator, and they also serve food as well, right? So you can see from these names that it is pretty instant. You more or less know what they do or what the product promises. Now here are some unique names you may have to think about it before you realize what they do. Mosquirix. Do you know what this is? It's not a vaccine against mosquitoes, although you may think that. It's actually a vaccine against malaria being developed by GSK. So if I did not tell you, you may think it's a vaccine against yellow fever or even dengue, right? Plendil and Novas are actually two calcium channel blockers which were launched in the 90s, indicated for hypertension. Plendil was a product that I launched when I was in Astra. It actually stands for plenty of dilation. In hypertension, your cardiac arteries are actually constricted, so you tend to dilate that. Novas probably stands for normal vascularization. Losec from Astra stands for low secretion, which is their acid pump inhibitor. Imdio, also from Astra. I worked in Astra, so that's why I'm giving quite a lot of examples from there. IMDUR stands for isosorbide mononitrate in dural formulation, which means extended release. Anyone knows what is Androgard beside Amanda, but anybody else? Androgard is actually one of Matsa's members' product. Any guesses? It's a supplement. Yeah, it's for andropause and it contains testosterone. Pristine is actually Malaysia's #1 selling fish oil. And from the name, you can more or less realize that the omega-3 is supposed to clear your body of toxins. Now, let's have a look at unique names with no relationship with what the product does. I gave you the example of Uber, a German word that means over or above, but now it has come to connote taxis, ride-hailing, ride-sharing. Delta, a geographical formation, which is now an airline, more popular as an airline. Skype has got nothing to do with the sky. Okay, it's an instant messaging or voice communication service. Adobe is actually very famous for its PDF documents, very famous for creating a webinar platform, as well as tools for creating or enhancing videos. eBay, what has a bay got to do with auctions? Nothing. And finally, Starbucks. What has coffee got to do with the stars? They make big bucks though, okay, so maybe that's what it means. So there are 6 ways that you can create a unique brand name. First off would be by misspelling homophones. So an example here is Business Apps. It's a company that makes apps for businesses. So note the way they spell business. Okay, so it's a misspelling. Secondly, Friend. Friend is actually a pet app developed by one of my clients. And from the spelling, you can see that the word fur is in there. So it's actually for furry mammals or furry pets. So it's not intended for birds or fish or reptiles. And lastly, videos. If you look closely or you pronounce it fast enough, you will tend to realize that actually it's the plural of video. It's actually a video creation software where you can create hundreds of videos in minutes. Second method that you can use is actually by coining words. We have already seen keen mind, okay? We have grab car, we have Instagram. So you can coin words as well. Thirdly is invent a new word. Now, as I was preparing this presentation, this word came to my mind, Mangal Fall. And I did a quick Google to see if it exists. It didn't exist, all right? So it's a new word that I created. I have not copyrighted. If anybody wants it, feel free to use. No royalties required. Alphanumeric, that's another way that you can use. Now, what you find here is this company by the name of Great Tops. It's a US company that makes hard tops for cars. They customize hard tops. Secondly, Greater is a company that makes industrial grinders. So you can play around with these alphanumeric versions as well. Make sure it's easy to pronounce though. You can also use an existing word. Periscope is actually a live streaming app owned by Twitter. And Telegram is not the old paper-based Telegram service. It's actually an instant messaging service that is competing against WhatsApp. And last but not least, you can use acronyms or even abbreviations. Now, I wonder if the Lazada speaker is already here. Is the Lazada person here? Not here. All right. Now, Lazada, if you Google online, actually is an acronym. Each letter stands for something. So it's a value or it can be virtues. Now, I'm not saying Lazada, the online retailer, is using that same formula, but I'm just giving an example. So you can use acronyms. You can also use abbreviations. Now, for those Australians who are here, I wonder how many of you know that Qantas is actually an abbreviation. It stands for Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services. So from a regional airline, it has become a global airline. So these are the 6 ways that you can actually create brand names for yourself. And the most powerful alphabets that you can use for your brand names are actually 5. These are the 5, J, K, X, Y, Z. And Z for the sake of the Americans who are here. And of these 5, the reason why studies say these 5 are the most potent is because not many brand names start with these 5 letters. Most of them start with A or B or S and so on. S is apparently the longest. So if you have names starting with these less common alphabets, it will make it easier for your customers to remember. And of these 5, guess which one is the most potent? Sorry? X? Yep. X is the most potent. And the reason is because it has the X factor. Okay? It has a mystical ring to it. It is fascinating, and customers find it interesting as well. So think about it. The next time you want to select a name, you may want to go with the X. And these are from studies actually, from research. Now, at the beginning of my presentation, I'd asked you to write down a piece of paper the brand name that comes to your mind or your favorite brand name. So let me just ask those around. How many of you, your brand name start with a J? Okay. What about K? Well, there's 1 K, all right. Or 2 Ks, okay. Is it because it's keen mind? What about X? Anyone starts with an X? Any of your brand names? Okay, what about X? Thank you. Oh, wonderful. That's why you mentioned X. Thanks, Ajit. What about Y? Any Ys? Z? Now, in Malaysia, and I think in Singapore as well, there's an online retailer by the name of Zalora. And when they launched, it went into the mind of specifically ladies, not so much the guys. It was very memorable for them, and they launched it with a lot of impact. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope it was useful for you. So there you go, guys. I hope that short 30-minute presentation has given you some ideas on how to come up with brand names. Now, I inform my clients that the brand name is probably the second thing that you do within your IP, intellectual property strategy, which is going to have an extremely long-term effect. You will make or break your sales, your revenues, just based on the brand name of your pharmaceutical product. Now, I take pride in having the superpower of selecting and creating brand names. I've done it for my products. I've done it for some of my clients. And if you need any help, then click the link below